You cannot heal in the same environment that is making you sick. Today I'm sharing my 5 toxic habits that I quit just in the last year alone to completely regulate and heal my nervous system and feel more at peace in my life. I've been diagnosed with ADHD and generalized anxiety disorder. I know what it feels like to constantly feel like your emotions are on edge and you have to multitask all the time. My body, my sympathetic nervous system was always on overdrive, and it was because of the environments that I was placing myself in and not knowing any skills to regulate myself and to get my nervous system under control and at a place where I feel truly at peace. By the way, I'm Shannon, and on this channel we talk all about living life with authenticity and purpose. If that sounds like you, I would love if you stay. And feel free to check out my free 3-day guide. It's a mental and physical reset if you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed or just need a reset for some more peace and confidence back into your life. It's in the description and in the cards here. I hope you get so much value out of it. So let's take it back to 10 years ago. I was fully in my millennial overconsumption beauty YouTube era. I was 23 years old, so my prefrontal cortex was definitely not fully formed. I was wasting the money that I should have been putting toward my student loans on beauty products, and it was just all about stuff, physical, material stuff in my life. And I think it was emotional for me. It was also mental and also very sensory. I felt like having more stuff could fill that gap in my life. And I think also all of us were just really unaware of the dangers of overconsumption, because at the time it was just a new era on the internet. I started to be aware of my overconsumption tendencies. I started to think of material items as things that could potentially lead to more stress in my life. So anything that I decided to buy, whether it be online or in person, I have to ask myself, is this going to create more space for me to think clearly, or is this just going to distract from the things that are actually important in my life? Will this bring more stress into my home, or will it bring more joy into my home? I began to choose to be less compulsive, to stop just chasing more things. And I started to trust with less things in my house. I also quit starting my day on my phone. This is huge. And I feel like this simple thing could potentially change someone's life for the better, because it's such a small thing that we just overlook. What we don't realize is that we're training our brain to consume before we take care of ourselves. And that's so dangerous, especially if you chronically live in a high stress environment. Checking what other people need from you before you even check in with yourself, that's a toxic habit. You are not giving yourself the space you need to think clearly about the thoughts that you had maybe last night. Maybe you woke up with feelings from the day before that you haven't truly processed yet. It's so important to check in with yourself, not by being on your phone, but by actually doing things somatically, by writing things out. Maybe you want to journal in the morning to get your thoughts out. Maybe dancing when you wake up, or moving your body somehow, doing some breath work. Somatic means you are releasing energy outside of your body and healing pent up, suppressed emotions that are stored within the energy, literally in your soul. I stopped hijacking my dopamine with emails and Instagram and TikTok and what the next beauty influencer is coming out with. It's so hard, but the one thing that really helps me with that is not putting my phone next to my bed, charging it away from my bed as much as possible. And it's such a little thing that you can do, and it's free, but it makes such a difference in your life, because like I said, you're not hijacking your dopamine first thing in the morning, when really you should be regulating your emotions and checking in with yourself and not reacting to everything right away. 30 minutes, at least 30 minutes of no phone in the morning as soon as I wake up. And when I say wake up, as soon as I get myself up physically out of bed, I always start my day with some breath work, a little bit of meditation, maybe some movement, some hydration, and then I do some somatic healing. I journal because I need to get thoughts out. I need to feel like I'm mentally clear to start my day. It doesn't matter if I'm tired. It doesn't matter if, I don't know, my son starts screaming in the morning and I have to get him up. It doesn't matter. I need to get thoughts out some way, somehow. If not my thoughts, then just feelings that I have. I need to move my body. I need to do my skincare. I need to drink. I need to nourish my body with some lemon water and minerals. Do something before you touch your phone in the morning. This next one is also huge, but I feel like people don't do this enough because they just don't know the research behind it. There is so much research out there that experts have talked about time and time again, that the gut and the brain is deeply connected. There is something to be said when when you feel butterflies in your stomach, that makes you happy somehow. It's because there are chemicals in your gut that send signals to your brain to make you happier. 90% of neurotransmitters are created in the gut. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that insane that we just don't know that? Our gut and our brain are deeply connected. And that is why maybe putting some ice on the back of your neck where the vagus nerve is, that is the biggest nerve that connects your brain and your gut. Immediately doing a cold shower in the morning or putting ice on the back of your neck, that calms the nervous system. It sends signals to your gut and to your brain through producing dopamine and serotonin. Your gut is also where inflammation starts. And where inflammation starts carries over to the rest of your body. Sugar is the biggest culprit. Lowering your sugar intake, I swear, will impact your mental health more than you think. Brain health matters way more than mental health because when you start with your brain health through your gut, that keeps you mentally clear. It prevents you from having sugar crashes throughout the day, more healthy fats, more fiber, more fermented foods, more protein. It all helps to increase GABA, serotonin, dopamine, and that helps with your mental health. It helps with clarity. It helps with feeling a sense of calm and peace and balance. Your brain fog will lift. You just feel more energized. And get this, it is hard to feed your gut good things because our brain is telling us to constantly feed off of ultra-processed foods, sugar. So there is this constant battle between the brain and the gut that you have to just get over and start listening to what the science says, because if you do not do this, your brain will suffer, your mental health will suffer, your nervous system will suffer. Healing through food is a real thing. So eat real food. I also quit having constant input. This means always having audiobooks on, always having podcasts on, YouTube videos. Sure, it's good to have those on while you're doing something physical that you don't necessarily want to do in the moment because it makes it easier for the task to be done. Sure, let's listen to podcasts and YouTube videos, but there is something to be said about this hurried culture that we live in that makes it so hard for us to just slow down and appreciate pockets of silence in our day. This is why meditation is so important. And I don't want to get all woo-woo, but meditation could look like just 5 minutes of complete silence and listening to your breath. 2 minutes of complete silence and just noticing how things feel around you, around your environment, noticing and appreciating the sounds that you hear, noticing the thoughts that are racing in your head and not being judgmental toward those thoughts. Meditation isn't meant to complicate your life, it's meant to bring you more peace. And people overcomplicate it for nothing. So what I started to do is going for walks without my phone. When I do this, I notice so much more around me. I'm able to be more grateful for the sun hitting my face, my dog who loves me so much, the wind in my hair. Like, you're just able to experience more while also giving your body and your mind the rest that it needs from constant overstimulation. Sometimes I like to drive in silence, even though I'd much rather learn something in that time, or maybe reply to text via voice notes. If you have a toddler or children, I don't know, maybe you're constantly on your phone looking for something to do because they're playing with their toy. Maybe just put your phone down for 10 minutes and watch them enjoy the toy that they're playing with. It is not that hard, but it creates so much more space for you to just feel what you're feeling and be present. Speaking of constant input and being in this hurried culture, there's something to be said about the culture that we live in being more masculine than feminine. And I use those two genders because it just is what it is. There are female hormones and there are male hormones. People who were born female have hormones that require us to slow down, to think less, to maybe live a life with less stimulation, to eat more during certain times of our cycle. I don't know if you know this, but progesterone is a huge hormone in the female reproductive system that allows us to have a period. Periods are what allow our female bodies to detox heavy metals from our body. If you are not listening to your hormones, slowing down, lowering your stress level during certain parts of your cycle, meaning the week before your period and during your period, you can really wreck your hormones and destroy your nervous system because progesterone is what makes women feel calm. If you are constantly living in a state of stress, progesterone tanks. Okay? If you have low glucose in your body during that time of the month, your body perceives it as a threat to your reproductive system, so it suppresses progesterone. You see where I'm getting at? The more progesterone that we produce during certain parts of our cycle, we are then able to feel more calm, regulate our nervous system, produce more GABA in our brains, which is that happy, calm hormone or neurotransmitter. I forget if it's a hormone or a neurotransmitter, but you get what I'm saying. I love that women are entrepreneurs and can work in this masculine culture. But we have to listen to our hormones because that is what is going to regulate our nervous system. It helps us to be more productive in our work when we're not constantly on overdrive. So listen to your hormones, ladies. That is exactly what nervous system healing looked like for me. At least those are my 5 top tips. It is a journey. It's not perfection. I hope this was of value to you guys. Let me know below what toxic habit you are quitting or have quit to help you regulate your nervous system. Let's help each other. I'm always learning. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up as always and consider subscribing to this channel. I love you guys. Take care and go activate your authenticity. I will see you in the next one. Bye.